Well, good morning, everybody. It's a real pleasure to be here. I was just thrilled when Lydia, right after I was elected, actually, she was the first person to invite me to come and speak at a county meeting. She mentioned Gracie Jane. Gracie Jane is my English Bulldog puppy. Well, she thinks that she's still a puppy. There are many stories about Gracie Jane on Facebook. If you can friend me, and you're welcome to read them. Gracie Jane is almost completely eaten my home. She is the love of my life. She got into the closet. I have a great big closet, and that I don't have to share with anybody because I'm single. And she got in there one day, and I mean, this has been really 2 or 3 months ago. She got in there, and I'll say, okay, I'm going to go in there and I'm going to clean that closet, and I open the door and I just shut it. I just can't face it. I mean, it's just amazing what one, dog could do. So it's worse than any toddler that I've ever seen. But anyway, she is the love of my life, other than my son Mitch, who lives in Seattle, Washington, with a bunch of liberal people, and is forever calling me and telling me that, Mother, these people are nuts out here. They're just nuts. So I know that Seattle at least got one vote, for Donald Trump. Thank goodness it was in secret, because Lord knows what they would have done to him had they known that he had voted for him. I ran for this office because I saw that there was a disconnect between the state party and the local parties. I felt like you all thought, I was a county chairman, and I thought that we were working for the state, and rather than it being the other way around. The state should be working for you. And I want you to know that when John ran, I got to know all 4 of the people that were running as candidates, and nobody will ever know who I voted for. But when John became elected, that was on Saturday night, because I know I got downstairs at 10 o'clock that morning, or before 10 o'clock, and I know Mark Roundtree put it on Facebook that at 6:42 that evening, Carolyn Fisher became the first vice chair. That's just a long time. And we were bleeding votes, because people were getting up to leave. But John left that Saturday night. On Sunday, after the convention, he had something that he had to do with his girls. And the next on Monday, he was in the office. And he has been in the office on Maple Drive every single day, except for the weekends, and maybe some weekends, for at least 14 hours a day. He has cut operation expenses in half. He has severed all contracts with consultants that we had that we didn't need. He has begun to raise money. We're in debt, and he's begun, to get that straightened out. He has been just very diligent in organizing that office, because it was rather disorganized. And that's not to say anything. I'm not going to stand here and bash any Republican. I refuse to do that. But that's just the way it is what it is. So he is, and yesterday I got a message from Carmen Foskey, who is the new executive director, and she let me know, wanted me to look at and get my opinion about the new website. I think you're going to really like it. I would like for us to be very grassroots friendly, and I let her know that. She asked for my opinions, and if you ask me, I'm going to give it to you. That we need to be very grassroots friendly, and we need to spotlight the things that you do when you do something in your county, if you have a big barbecue, if you have, whatever it is that you do, if you have your county fair and you're working at it, we need to let people know, and put a spotlight on you and let people know, because, there are people there's two kinds of people in the party really that are volunteers. And they're both equally important. You've got people who will sit and you'll walk into their office and they'll write you a $50,000 check, no problem. That's important. And then you've got people like me who like to work on the ground. I don't have a $50,000 check that I could write one, but it would bounce. But I like being in the thick of things. I like most of you do, just, to campaigning. I also ran for this position because I really feel like that we as a party need to project a positive image. There are a lot of times, I know that we've talked about statewide, just about every county that I go to, somebody talks about, well, I'm tired of all the infighting. I mean, how many of you are tired of that? Are you tired of that? I don't like getting on Facebook, and I think Facebook, it's a wonderful thing. It really is in many, many ways. I mean, it gets news out to people, to your friends, that you haven't seen in a long time, and news out to people, and and then there's some, it has its problems. But at the same time, one of the things is I don't like it when someone gets on Facebook and starts really bashing a Republican, calling them horrible names, that kind of thing. What kind of an image does that project if a Democrat's reading that? Or if somebody in the media is reading that? What kind of an image does that give us? So I know that now that we are all getting ready to go into our respective corners and fight for who we want to be our governor and our other constitutional officers. Well, let's do that. Fight very hard for your candidate, but we should do it in a positive way. You don't want to call, the person in the other camp nasty names, those kinds of things, and you've all seen this. Because when the sun goes down, there's going to be one person standing, and we need to get behind that person. Because I'll tell you something, the Democrats are on their way. They have us targeted. There's a target on our back. They had the state of Georgia for over 100 years, and they want it back desperately. And Forsyth County, which is the county where I live, is one of the most conservative counties in the state. And the southern part of the county, it's a very affluent county. And but in the southern part of the county, there's like a little Democrat creep. They're just creeping in. And we actually we haven't had anybody run against a Republican in years, but in this last election, we had two that ran. We had a Board of Education member that was opposed by a Democrat and a state senator that was opposed by a Democrat. And I'm sure that there will be more in 2020. And I think you're going to start seeing a lot of that around Georgia. But as I was talking to Lydia before the meeting, it is the counties that are outside of the Atlanta area, she was saying to me, and we both agreed, that keep Georgia red. You are important. You are important. You should not ever feel like you are left out. I am, at this point in time, making my way slowly but surely down the list of, I think there are 151 counties that are organized. And I'm just picking up the telephone and I'm calling chairman. And I'm saying, hey, this is Carolyn Fisher. Is there anything we can do for you? I'm just wondering, how are things going down in Ware County? How are things going down in Lowndes County? I haven't gotten to the P's yet. And, how have you, how are things going? Is there anything we can do to help you? Do you have any suggestions for us? And you would not believe the response that I've gotten. It's almost sad. Almost every person that I talk to say, oh my gosh, nobody's ever called me before. Nobody's ever called us and asked us if there's anything that we need or acted like they cared about us. Well, I want you to know that John Watson does care about you. And I care about you. And I really will tell you this. I've been a Republican all of my life. My mother and father actually started the Republican Party in Southeast Georgia, in my dad's office with Mac Mattingly, Senator Mac Mattingly, before Mac was a senator. And they just saw, for some reason, these three people were visionaries, and they saw what was coming down the pike, and they were concerned, and they thought that, that Georgians should have a choice, statewide and locally. At that time, the only thing you could vote for as a Republican on the Republican ticket was for president. That was it. You didn't dare run as a Republican. You could get shot. I'm not kidding you. So some of these people around the state literally put their businesses on the line because they were. That's how tough it was to get your name on the ballot, and how badly you were looked upon just because you wanted to, go to the Republican Party.